Hello, everyone. Everyone, you know me. I'm business coach Nancy, and I am here with my social media manager, Kim Vanderpool of Fresh Impact. And we are going to talk about how interactive storytelling for designers can elevate your Instagram game. And I literally read nothing about this in advance, so it's all you, Kim.
Awesome. I am so excited because I love storytelling. I wish sometimes I was better at it, but the more practice you have, the better you get at it.
Yes.
So the reason why people think of social media as advertising at times, but when we challenge you to think more of it as storytelling, you're going to be able to build a deeper relationship and a deeper connection with your audience when you tell stories versus advertising.
Okay, so rather than just pushing out information, tell me, what does it mean to tell
So what we want to do is we want to have more of a strategy behind it, one.
Okay.
And then we want to look at what you're using on the Instagram. So, we've talked before about the neighborhoods. We've got the stories. We've got the reels. We've got the feed. How can we use all of those to tell your story? And what does that include? And so, we'll start with stories for one. So stories itself are quick. They last only 24 hours. You can save them to your highlight. So if they have good stories, I would definitely recommend. But they are a great way to let your audience, one, know about you. You can show behind the scenes. But one of the best ways is for you to know your audience and where are they at. So if you're a designer and you want to know what people are thinking of the latest trends, the latest colors, you could have, here is one company's color of the year. Here's another company's color of the year. What do you prefer? Do you prefer subway tile or do you prefer this tile? Do you prefer this wallpaper or this wallpaper? So it's a great way to get interaction with your community that you already have. It's a great way to assess where is your audience. Are they a buying audience? Are they ready to have their homes redesigned? Or are you at the part where you're just planting that seed for them that they need to consider hiring a designer? So you could have a question, when you think of an interior designer, I think of blank. Or if you could redesign.
That's a scary one.
It is, but you really get to know your audience.
And I think it's a great one because what if they say, when I think of an interior designer, I think of blank, and they say expensive. Now you get to address that.
And educate.
And
yes.
Educate. I do like this. Okay.
Right. Or you could say, if you could redesign any room in your home, what would you choose? Or
and when someone says and why, that might kill someone responding because it's too much information.
Too much. And that's what I'm saying. It's people are asking these. And I even had to, we have a Facebook group for business owners to kind of empower and encourage them. And I have a wonderful team member managing it. And her questions are great, but I told her, I go, I'm a business owner and I wouldn't take the time to answer you.
Too much.
I want to know yes and no, black and white, yellow, red, blue, hello, goodbye.
So one word answers is what you're
really simple. But so if most of your audience says, I would love a new office, then you know that you could gear your content the next couple weeks on your other platform or on the Instagram feed or reels about tips on how to design an office, showcase the offices that you've designed. You've never designed anybody else's office, but you have your own home office. There is no rule or law that you can't take pictures of your own stuff. Like so many designers will say, well, I don't have any profile pictures. I don't have any project photos. You live in a home. I'm pretty sure you probably have designed your own home.
At least I mean, some designers, it's like the shoemaker without shoes, kind of like when I was an art consultant, I never had good artwork in my house, but it also can give you incentive to do projects in your house.
Correct. Or something simple as for one of my designers that we work for, she taught me how to style an end table. I had no idea of taking and displaying books, which are cherished to my heart. My books those are the first things I pack when I'm going on vacation. I don't pack clothes. I don't pack anything. I have my books stacked by my door ready to go. That's my priority. Yes, it's always been, what am I going to read? Okay. So they're a priority, but I can use them in my decoration. I don't have to hide them in my closet. Correct. But I learned that from a designer showing a tip on how to design my end table with books.
So the pushback is always you're going to teach them how to style an end table. You're going to teach them how to style a bookshelf. These are all for DIYers. So why is that beneficial for me to post if I want to be a luxury designer?
Because when it is time for me to hire a luxury designer, you're going to come first and top of mind.
Because I know you know what you're talking about.
I know what you're talking about. I know that you care about me, that even though I can't necessarily afford you at this moment, someday I will be able to. And I like your style. So if there's a designer that is using, I love bold colors, but it would never work in my home. Right. So if there's a designer that's got a lot of bold colors, I would still love and follow them, and maybe I appreciate what they have, but I'm going to follow and I'm going to interact with that designer that has more of the
aesthetic you like.
Yes, the clean, fresh, simple. I'm a very simple decorator. Mm-hmm. And so then if I've already developed that relationship with them and they've showed me how to organize my cupboard or organize my bookshelf, then when I'm ready, I want to put new bookshelves in my living room.
Right.
I've already developed that relationship. I have someone I know and trust that I can hire to put those in because I know what I want. He or she has helped me know what I want, and people will save for what they want. So but having those stories, then you know where your audience is. Why would you post all about offices if all your stories of all your followers want a beautiful kitchen? Then you're going to push. So it really helps, kind of giving you the content ideas.
Yes. We do that in our group once in a while, right? Or what is everyone struggling with? Or we just look down the group and we can see. Pricing is always number one. Client communication, like we marketing, right? We start to know what people are struggling with. So if you're an interior designer though, and you don't have a Facebook group like I do to pull out the problems that people are having, ask.
Right. And it's a way to help, if I were to hire a designer before I started working with you, I would have been shaken in my boots. Like, oh my goodness, they're way above here. I wouldn't know what to, that fear of that, kind of like going to a lawyer, or, you have those stigma responses. But if there was a designer that I liked and was thinking of working with her, and I saw that she liked to hike, or that she had poodles, or that she loved coffee or flowers, I've already built connection with her because she likes the same things I like.
Yes.
And we undermine how important that is. We had a counselor we were doing social media for, and she was having a hard time breaking that barrier between an engagement with her clients. What do you put on social? So we posted, she was had a Monday morning with kids trying to get to work. You can imagine that scenario. She went through Starbucks. I said, take a picture of that and say, any other moms can understand this. Bingo. Perfect. Everybody understands it.
Perfect.
We may be a designer, but we are humans first. And humans connect with stories. So that is the importance of telling stories, and using your feed. You can share some of the stuff you on your feed and share it to your stories, and create more of that engagement that way.
Yes. Okay. Interactive storytelling. Ask questions.
Yep. And it creates that emotional connection. And the beautiful thing of in the stories of Instagram is that you can create that engagement, which is sometimes hard to create through the feed unless you know what you're doing on the feed. And that is ask questions. When you are posting on a feed, you can tell a little bit about what you're doing, but then think about how can I get them to engage? So if I have a beautiful picture of a sofa by the fireplace and it's winter, you could say, what would you be reading sitting next to this fireplace? Or who would you like to be sitting next to this couch with?
You're giving me ideas because I post to my own stories mostly. And I posted this morning, we went to some cute farm yesterday, and you can go pick your own vegetables and stuff. And I should have put a question on who has a green thumb, because I don't. I have to go to the farm. Right. And then see, again, just to get some interaction and them to get to know me.
Correct. And then if they respond, you can take a picture of their stuff and share it on your stories. It gives them love. It's a lot of back and forth, especially the designers that live in a community that isn't a huge metropolitan area, that has more of that community feel.
Yes.
You can't underestimate how the word of mouth, and you give a little love to your community through the stories. When I am on my game and I'm out having coffee, I try to take a snapshot of the coffee and give a shout out to the coffee shop because it gives them brand recognition. It gives me brand recognition because I have my business name tied to my Instagram. So that's like, oh, well, who's Kim? You know, so now when people talk about Kim Vanderpool, they think of Fresh Impact because
It's out
we
there.
married the name. Yes.
Yes.
And that's what and designers can do. So, you know, that humanization, it humanizes your brand is the
Okay.
biggest thing, and it creates that engagement. Now, I wanted a couple hacks, couple quick little tips on Instagram that everybody should know. When it comes to reels and you're posting reels, so some people will say, well, tried reels and I did a feed and nobody responded. Like, you hear that. Well, you can't just do it one time. You have to be consistent. I would test everything for at least a month. But I want you to think about if you did a reel and you had 10 people watch that reel, and you did a carousel post and you had 6 people, it reached 6 people, 6 people watched it. Don't think that your carousel had 4 less, because potentially 5 of those 6 maybe never watched a reel. So you're reaching a different audience. So I would like to challenge people in the way that they think things. So I would do carousels, reels, and your feed and balance it out and then see and really watch those numbers, but not after 1 week. I would do a month or 2 before you really can make any educated decisions on which your company or your audience likes.
Gotcha.
But when you do reels, try to do 2 to 4 segments of text on your reel.
Okay.
And making sure it's in the center so people can see it when they're going through the feed.
I know. I hate when people do reels and I'm like, I can't read that. And it goes too fast too.
Or you do too much text and people lose it. Or if you have no text, nobody's going to click on it because, interesting enough, 43% of the people will never read your captions, regardless, on Instagram.
Interesting.
97% of the people will never read beyond your first line. So that's one of the
Okay, I'm writing this down. 43%
never read the captions.
Never read captions, but that means 57 do. Okay.
Right. But 97% will never read beyond the first sentence.
Wow.
So that goes, people will say, well, then why do long captions? You need to know your audience. I have some clients that we write a blog post for their social
For their
media.
Instagram, yeah.
Yes, because that is what their audience, that's who their audience is. They are reaching a more of a scholarly, like people that want that education. And I have others that don't. And so they need the short captions. I have some that emojis make perfect sense for their brand. Others, they're not emoji people, and it looks odd when they're using emojis. So you can almost, right now with AI being so popular, you can almost tell when it's AI written because there's emoji throw up.
I know, it's so true. I've seen that.
Yes. So 2 to 4 text and keeping it in the center. And then if you're picking out music on your reels, try to look at where it says, it'll say how many times the music has been used, to stay between 100 and 1,000 is kind of a good goal.
Okay.
And then making sure that you use movement. So this was where I would be bad at, because I know if I was out and did a reel, I would be like this. You don't have to dance, but moving your arms, kind of doing something to create movement,
Right.
something will help. And then creating a hook. So for designers, when you create these beautiful reels of the projects that you're doing in the homes, do a call to action. So one of the actions was, hey ladies, this video is for you. Hey, busy mamas, this is a great storage tip. Hey, mamas, wouldn't you love this kitchen with this functionality? It's, beautiful and functional type thing. So calling out your ideal client would be a great way to do that. Or saying, here's how to do this, like giving that hook so people will stay and watch your reel. So those are some reel tips. The other thing is subscriptions is a big thing that's coming on. And I looked, you have to have 10,000 followers. So if you're a designer and you have over 10,000 followers, and you do subscriptions, an idea that I had for interior designers to do is create a subscription, low cost, $5 or $10 a month, and people will get design tips once a week from you. Like, that would be a great way to use subscriptions. And it's low dollar, people can still get value, you'll still get a little bit of income. So that would be a good way, a reason to increase those followers. So,
Yes.
yes,
Which
yes.
is always what drives everyone crazy, trying to increase the followers. But
It is hard. It is hard. But that goes to the next little hack I'm going to show you because I practiced on my own phone this morning.
okay.
So when you open up your Instagram feed,
Yeah.
and you will see, actually, Nancy, I'd like you, I don't know if you can, if you go to Fresh Impact Social Media,
Yeah.
and you should be able to see that it's been glitchy this morning. It worked half the time. Do you see how big my following button? I don't know. Can you see? Oh,
Yeah,
can
it's
anybody-
across the whole thing now.
Yeah. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Everybody?
Yeah.
You can do that yourself.
How?
Everybody can do that. And so that following button is so much bigger. And
How do
so
I
what
do
you
that?
need, what you need to do is if you go and you edit your profile.
So wait a minute. Where do you hit edit profile?
So you have to be on your home.
I am. So I'm on where it shows my face and my own wall.
And it says professional dashboard, and then it says edit profile.
Professional. Oh, yeah, right there. Edit profile. Yep. Okay.
So under edit profile, you want to make sure that the action button, you should have where it says action buttons.
Action buttons. It says non-active.
Yep. So it should pop up. Now, this is where it was a little glitchy. Sometimes I just got order food, but you should have like a learn more.
No, I have order food, book now, or reserve.
Okay. So yours is being glitchy right now. So
Okay.
I had to go in and out. I tried it for the couple of my clients. I had to go in and out, but eventually the learn more came up.
Ah.
And then, so what the key is that you need to have a couple of buttons on the bottom to make that follower button get larger.
You have to have a
and then
couple of what?
by adding the action buttons and adding the profile display.
Oh, see, mine says display category label and display contact information. So I have that.
Okay. And
Those
then
are both on.
And something else, Nancy, that I know that you're using Acuity now.
Well, no, not yet. We're in the process of trying to switch.
So you can, another way to get a button is connecting one of these third-party apps like Acuity. So that would create that extra button.
Gotcha.
And then when you have those extra buttons, that pushes up the follow button to the top and it makes it larger.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that was a quick little fun hack for everybody to try to get
okay.
more. And then my screen went dead, so I can't see you. So
oh, no, yeah, I can see that it's darker now. There you
okay. And then the other thing for designers is start collaborating with other people. And it's really easy to do now. So even like you and I, the posts that you post with your week going on, this would be a hack for you. Like your upcoming things, you could tag me, you could tag,
Sheila, and tag all my sponsors.
Right.
And
tag, but it offers you the ability to tag, or you can collaborate. There's another button there that says collaborate.
Mm-hmm.
So you click that button. Then what I would do is I would let your post get a little bit of love, and then I would accept that collaboration, and then I would give it more love out of my feed. So you're actually getting more love from that same post. So like if you do something with Luann, collaborating that post that you're promoting that you're going to be on her podcast, make her a collaborator, and then you both will get more love from that single post.
Interesting.
So,
Okay.
and the designers can do that with each other. Like, especially if you ask the designer for like, hey, what do you have an idea for this? And they give it to you, or they're another contractor or somebody that you're working vendor with, then that would be a great way to develop some mutual relationships to help both of your stuff grow.
So smart. All right. Anything else?
So those are some more Instagram. I want to see everybody using Instagram.
Oh my God. Everyone should be using Instagram. You just gave so many amazing tips that I wrote down 5 or 6 things that I want to go back and look now to see.
So yes. So think about stories, think about creating that relationship. People do business with who they know, like, and trust. And they only know, like, and trust you through Instagram is if you're showing up and are consistent and showing who you really are.
Love it. All right. Thank you, Kim.
You bet.
If you guys are watching on replay, please go back and watch from the beginning because Kim just gave it so many amazing Instagram tips on how to get more interactive with your clients. And of course, if you need help with your social media, Kim has an amazing program called the Get It Done Club. It's still called that, right?
Yep, it's still called Get It Done Club. Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
So you can show
Yes.
up once a week, have a coach, Kim, on the other side, a social media expert on the other side of the screen, for tips and tricks, and if you get stuck, and for inspiration, along with some other people who are all doing it. So it is something that you can get your social media done yourself with help every single week and plan out for the future. And I just think it's the most amazing club ever.
Well, and it's really good for, again, helping you show up consistent, because you show up consistent with us, then we help you show up consistent on your feed.
Exactly. All right, Kim, we will
Great,
see you next month for the more social media tips. Thank you so much. And everyone go to the link in the description and check out Fresh Impact and all that Kim has to offer with her organization. She's the best.
Thanks.
Bye, Kim.
Thanks so much.